All right, so I wanted to get a video out on the pink cloud because I feel it's very beneficial to know about it and to acknowledge it, to know what it is. Um, it's sort of like the honeymoon phase with sobriety when you start to feel better with clarity and your brain fog's gone. People tend to slip during this phase. I mean, it can occur 5 to 7 days into no drinking, all the way up to a few months, maybe even a year. I mean, it all depends on the severity of your drinking and your body chemistry, a lot of variables. But for me, it usually happens within like a week, like 5 to 8 days after I quit drinking, on a weekend. Go a weekend binge, and then I go a whole week and miss a weekend of drinking. I'll start to have that clarity, and the brain fog goes away, 5 to 7 days in. After 3 days, it gets steadily better. But you start to feel better and you're like, all right, well, I'm good. I'll drink again. And you fall into this vicious cycle of just repeating the same pattern. I feel better, drink, feel like crap. Oh, I feel better. It's like the typical person who drinks heavily on a weekend and they say they're never drinking again. And then the next weekend they're right out doing it again. That was me. And I've done that over and over again, saying I wouldn't drink. And then there I am drinking again in a week or two. Yeah, but the pink cloud goes much further than that. When you get several months under your belt, you'll start to feel very good. Like your neurotransmitters are working better, your brain's healing, your brain fog dissipates more and more every week. The clarity is unreal. It's like your brain functions much better. I mean, alcohol is a toxin, and you're basically dehydrating your brain when you drink. So when you're not putting that stress on your brain, you're actually letting your body heal, and it's almost like you have a whole new brain 3, 6, 9, 12 months into this. I'm sure a year from now it'll be drastically different from now. I'm not saying you're going to become like a superhuman with superpowers, but mentally, like, you do get quicker. Like, I know when I was drinking, it was not making me any faster. Even for days after drinking, it slowed me down. You're basically killing your brain cells, dehydrating your brain. Your brain enlarges. Like, go look this stuff up. It's not healthy at all, especially when you're drinking to excess. But anyways, yeah, the pink cloud. You don't want to slip into the cycle of like feeling good and then thinking you can moderately drink again, and then you have a few, and then you start having more, and then you're right back to where you were. You're right back to square one. And you got to be careful of this because you start to feel good. It's almost like people with medication, right? They start to feel better, so then they stop taking the meds, and then they're back to square one. I don't know if that's the best example, but it's like you can't let the good feelings of your sobriety make you feel like you're good to go back to that abyss, that dark abyss, that you were trying so hard to climb out of to begin with. Because there's been many times I've had weeks and months sober, and I would forget how a hangover feels, right? I'd be like, oh, I'll be good. I haven't drank in 2 months, and I'd go out and drink. I've done this. I'm a case study for this, okay? I would go out and drink, and every single time the next day I would feel like trash, just as bad as the time before. And I'd always try to embed that into my brain, like that's how it would feel. And I've always struggled with that. But this time, I know if I drank tonight, I'd feel like absolute crap tomorrow and I'd regret it. You have to really rewire your brain and just pound that into your head and remember it. I fell into that trap. Like, oh, I feel great. I haven't drank. My hangover will be mild, because I haven't drank in forever, and it's always the same. Like I've said before, I've never woken up in the morning and regretted not drinking. That's the honest to God's truth. I've never woke up on a weekend, Saturday or Sunday, and was sober and felt good and went, man, I wish I drank last night. Because FOMO is a whole other video topic, but that really controlled me too. I felt like I had to be out socializing. I had to be down at the bar or at a party, when in reality, when I was down there drunk, I was not. I had fun, okay? But looking back from a sober perspective, those times were not adequate they were not worth my while. It was a bunch of degenerates smoking cigs, pounding shots, and talking the same nonsense. Like nothing was tangible whatsoever or intelligent. And I'm sure if I went down there and drank water, which I've done during a sober spree before, I have not this time in the past 7 months. Some people are against that. Some people can do it. I believe I could do it, and I may do it one night, and I would not dare drink if I went out. But I can't, this is a weird thing too. I can't stand drunks when I'm sober. And that's who I was down there. I was that person. When I was drunk, I could tolerate other drunks. It's like everyone's on the same level. You don't realize how slow people are and how stupid people are when you're in that toxic drunkenness, right? You don't realize it. But when you're sober and see it, I can't stand drunks. So I can only imagine how people couldn't stand me. That's another throwback. I need to make a video on FOMO and a video on how like being sober as an binge drinker, like I can't stand drunks. There's 2 good video topics actually. I'm gonna add them to my list. It's just weird to me, like, and that embarrasses me because if I can't stand people that are drunk, I know people couldn't stand me. You know what I mean? And I drank to bring myself down, to bring my mentality down and my intelligence down. So I'd be stupid and shut off. So I wouldn't think as much, and that's exactly what it would do. But I had to drink such excess quantities of it. If I could be a moderate drinker, I think things would be much different. I wouldn't, but moderate drinking just doesn't work for me. But yeah, that's just don't get too comfortable with your sobriety. When you start feeling better, just know it keeps getting better, and you don't want to ruin it because you will just be in a repetitious cycle of feeling better and then relapsing. And people get stuck in this. It's a real thing. Just ride the pink cloud out and just enjoy it. And just remember that a sober life can be that way, right? Don't think you have to go back to a substance. Like, that's all there is to it. And it's tricky. It really is tricky. Because it's a lot harder to abstain from drinking than it is to just go and grab alcohol and drink or go down to the bar. That's easy, man. That's the easy route. All the people that are stuck doing that and are miserable financially and in trouble, have health issues, have a record because of it. This applies to everything. Drugs, alcohol. Alcohol is a drug. They're making the easy choice to go and do it. The harder choice is to abstain, trust me, but it's worth it. And it's such an easier life. The harder choice makes for an easier life. That's what's crazy about it. But that's about it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I love you guys and girls. Take it easy.